Today we're going to be talking about getting out of your comfort zone and staying in the stretching zone so that you can expand, so that you can receive, so you can have the allowance to receive the blessings of God's source energy and realizing that you are source, you are the oracle of love, light, and wisdom in this moment. But feel blessed, feel conscious, feel free, feel open, feel spacious, and feel as if your awareness is being filled with spirit. But I bless everybody who's on this broadcast. I bless the whole world. And just feel blessed as you hear this message. Good afternoon, dear beloveds. This is White Wolf. We're going to be talking about not being in our comfort zone, not being in the panic zone, but we're going to be talking about, I'm going to move this camera just a tad. We're going to be talking about getting in the stretching zone. We're going to be talking about letting ourselves have the allowance to attract more to ourselves, to keep ourselves open to receiving, to keep ourselves open to emptying ourselves out, and the purification process along the way. This is White Wolf, and if you have not seen me before, I'm running a special for 20 minutes for $20, 40 minutes for $40, and 60 minutes for $60. So contact me on Messenger with Jacob Wolf, and go to Carla Whelan on Messenger, Carla Ladd, excuse me. And like the I Am Movement, go to our YouTube channel, MorningStar I Am Movement, bitchute MorningStar at I Am Movement, space. Go to our Instagram page, I_M_movement, the rest is lowercase, and go to our TikTok, MorningStar967. How are y'all doing today? This is another installment of Cigars and Spirituality, episode 4. And I drew a diagram for you guys, and this is in personal development classes. And I want you to understand the only way that you remain present, the only way that you expand and you allow yourself to receive. And you have to understand that you have to keep stretching yourself out. You have to stretch yourself out of your comfort zone. You have to get rid of the false narratives, get rid of the negativity, get rid of all the things that does not represent source in your own unique way. But this morning, me and MorningStar received healing, and I knew something was up, and I felt kind of sick, and I felt kind of like, I felt like I almost wanted to throw up. But what I realized is that we were having a moment of healing. I was ridding myself out of false narratives, of the negativity I used to feed into. And I was also getting rid of hatred that was coming from her father, and I was emptying it out for both of us. So in healing, we have to be open to receiving. We have to understand that we just have to go with the flow, and we have to understand that if we don't empty ourselves out, we won't have the purification process. So always receive, always stretch yourself out, always question things, always analyze things, always analyze your emotions, always analyze yourself, always check yourself before you wreck yourself, if you will. But I wanted to show you guys this diagram. So see, the stretching zone is yes. The stretching zone is elevated vibration, is enlightenment. It allows you to chase your dreams, to not stay stagnant, to take the risk and see where the dice land. This is all about taking risks. This is stretching you out. This is stretching you out from your own capabilities. Some of you don't know how masterful you really are. But the panic zone is most human beings go into. They always panic. They're always like, what if I do this and this happens? No, you just have to have the conviction. You have to have the faith. You have to really take a chance on yourself, because if you don't take a chance on yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, who is going to believe in you? So Source is going to believe in you. Your guides are going to believe in you. Your higher self is going to believe in you. But don't even make it a belief, but make it a thing that is just known. Just know, it's an inner knowing. You just know that you are blessed, that you are prosperous, that the universal ATM has you in the palm of their hand. You know that everything you touch turns to gold. So why, if you're supernaturally organic, why would there be any need to panic? So don't be in the panic zone. Take a deep breath and release the tension, release the self-doubt, release the self-judgment, and don't be in the panic zone. But this is what I used to be in. I used to be in the comfort zone. It's a no. You play it safe. You just go on your day-to-day path, not taking a risk, not making different choices, having the same friends, having Groundhog Day. You're always attracting the same thing that you always attract since the dawning of mankind in other lifetimes, in other past lifetime progressions. So what I want you guys to understand is that this is the top. This is the top of the totem pole. This is where you need to be. This is where your throne is at. And they're waiting for you to sit on your throne as if you are royalty, as the kings and queens of enlightenment. So you have to see yourself as royalty. You have to see yourself as the billionaire. You have to see yourself as successful. If you want to be successful, you have to see yourself as muscular. If you want Chris Hemsworth's body, what are different choices? What are different cause and effects to allow you to have that said body, to be in that shape, to feel that way? So, but if you are in the panic zone, you're going to doubt yourself. You're going to be like, this is too much. I'm going to stop and I'm not going to follow my dreams. And if you stay in the comfort zone, you're just going to be like, I'm a negative Nancy. I'm just going to, I'm just going to do like 5 abs and think that I look like Chris Hemsworth and da 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 da. Yes, you can use your imagination, but your imagination, you'll look yourself in the mirror and you'll still have that beer gut. So use your imagination and try to see yourself in the future of what you want to look like and place it in the present. Download your dream board within your consciousness so that you always remain present. Always question things. Always try to seek out the emotions, seek out the sense perception, see through all the illusions that you need to see through, and be open to receiving and have allowance. Just go about your day to day and follow your choices, follow your alignment, follow the breadcrumb trail of excitement. And as you follow the journey within journeys, within infinite number of journeys, with infinite number of parallel realities, and you realize that you're an infinite being and your soul is the infinite reality, and what you're trying to do is trying to be right now in the stage you're before creation. You have not seen the totality of your creation. So what we're trying to do in this life is we're trying to become enlightened so we get to the absolute reality, so we get to after creation. So I wanted to draw this diagram here for you, and this is what we're going to be talking about today. This is White Wolf. If you're coming into the feed, please share out to all the groups and feel free to donate. But I want you guys to understand that when you play it safe, that when you play it safe, when you don't take risk, when you always do the same thing, you're not going to get a different result. Just because you played the lottery and you didn't win this time doesn't mean you're not going to win next time. You have to keep playing the lottery. You have to keep trying. You have to keep pushing. You have to be a barrier breaker. You always have to think that you can make it to the next level, and you can't give up on yourself, and you can't be a negative Nancy towards yourself, and you can't give in to the negativity, and you can't give in to the false narratives, and you can't keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. And if you focus too heavily on the said manifestation, you're going to actually not attract it to yourself. So let it be free flowing, have faith, have an all is well attitude, and just know that everything you touch turns to gold. So no matter what you try, no matter what reality that you play with, it's going to work for your best benefit wherever you want to go, because there's infinite number of parallel realities. So you have to understand that there's nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that can't work out. There's nothing that you can do that is not going to work out. But the fact that you don't try is the fact that you stay stagnant, is the fact that you don't change, is the fact that you don't attract things. So always remain stretching, always remain in the stretching zone, always try to find ways to receive, always have the allowance to be happy where you are, because if you are happy where you are, you're not going to be a negative Nancy when you don't get your way. It's all about having a lot of faith. And it requires some patience, but if you can download the dream board within your consciousness, if you can rewrite the pages of your life already here, ever present, then there's no need to keep waiting on something, to keep dreaming about it. You can place your dream here in the present, and just because it's not right here in front of your face, slapping you in the face, doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It just means that you have to prophesize your journey. You have to prophesize what you want. You have to remain teachable and remain receivable, because if you spiritually bypass, if you bypass on your journey, you're going to miss out on some things that you need to integrate. It's all about integration. It's all about integrating what you need in this life. So it's not just about receiving, but it's also about trying to learn, trying to remain teachable, trying to be with this healing journey, because it's all about self-healing. I can be a healer and I can show you my energy signature and I can get you to receive some healing, but if you don't receive these gifts right here, right now, because it's not going to be given to you. Some of us, our best life now has been given to us, but a lot of us are chosen, but a lot of you may have to work up to that. But what it really means and what it really signifies to you is that you have to really stretch yourself out, empty yourself out from your ego. And sometimes self-pity is ego, but we have a more purified ego. We have a more self-awareness of ourselves. So, but we don't just have free choice. We have the divine plan. We have the aligned plan. We have what we need to do that is in our arsenal, that is in our spiritual tool belt to do in this life, to exceed in this life, to try to be prosperous in this life. But we have to feel like we are prosperous. We have to feel awesome. We have to feel amazing. We have to really work on our frequency, because that's what they're doing, is they're trying to stretch you out. They're trying to stretch you out of your comfort zone. They're trying to push you off the cliff and allow you to dive into the essential oils of Source. They're trying to get you to stop saying that about yourself, to start to love yourself, to forgive yourself, and let it go. It's all about letting go, but it's not just letting go about your past. It's not letting go of wanting in the future, but it's letting go of everything that does not serve, because in this spiritual life, it's going to cost you a lot of things. It's going to cost you so many different things, but it's costing all the things that are limiting you, that are leaving you stagnant, that are suppressing your creation that you want out of this life. So don't suppress, don't be constricted. Take a deep breath and try to receive, and try to emulate what you want Source to be in your own image. What does Source look like to you? Does it look like you're wearing a robe? Does it look like you're wearing a hat, wearing a ring, beads? It doesn't have to look like what I'm necessarily doing. It doesn't have to look like anything that I'm doing, but it has to be you. It has to be who you are and what you want this life to be like. So who do you want to emulate? What character do you want to portray? Because you are the actor of your life, but you're also sort of the director. Your higher self is the director, and he's telling you what you need to do and what avenue you need to do. Maybe you need to go to that bakery shop. Maybe you need to go to the car dealership. Maybe you need to seek out this person, make this appointment with this person. Maybe they have some signs and some confirmations for you, or some healing that you can receive from this person. But because we're always trying to reflect to people, we're becoming the human mirror. And as we're becoming the human mirror, we're reflecting to each other. And our clients even reflect who we kind of are in this life. So always remain stretching. Always try to find ways to learn. Surround yourself with inspiration. Be the creation that you were created to be. Be what God Source Energy made you to be. But you have to let go of the human condition. You have to let go of being a human being, because that human being has no bearing of who you are. That human being is a liar. That human being is the imposter self. The imposter self always wants to panic, always wants to be comfortable. You can say that Satan wears many disguises, but the human condition is Satan wearing a disguise. It is the imposter self. So what I want you to understand, if you want to be the God self, if you want to be Christ consciousness, if you want to be all that you can be in this life, you're going to have to take a risk. You're going to have to stop caring what people think. You're going to have to stop caring what your mom and dad think, and your friends and your coworkers, and you're going to have to live your best life now. You have a choice. You get to have a choice. It's like picking ice cream. If you pick this ice cream, it's going to be your favorite ice cream. But you don't want the other ice cream. You don't want tuna ice cream. I'm sorry. You do not want tuna ice cream. It's gross. It's not who you are. So stop being the tuna ice cream. I know that's a crazy analogy. I know that's kind of a a funny analogy, but it's kind of simple so that you kind of get what I'm kind of laying down. So what you have to understand is that when you are in the stretching zone, they're trying to stretch you out. They're trying to have you be a full body of light instead of having light right here, but there's no light right here. If it's dark right here, your judgment's going to be clouded. You're not going to be the effortless perfection of the higher self. You're not going to be source in human form, but you have to be the transcendence of all things. You have to be pure white light. Because a lot of the times human beings always stay comfortable, they always do the same thing, they always have the same job, they have the soul sucking job, and they don't think for a second that they can go do what they want to do. And here, when you become enlightened, you are having a rebirth, you are having a metaphysical crucible and having the metaphysical baptism. You're trying to cleanse everything that you've done in this life, in this lifetime, but you're cleansing everything in all other lifetimes. But the only way to do that is to stay within the here, within the now, and be present fully. And once you become present fully, you will always stretch, and it will be a gradual journey, but you will accelerate on your journey when you're not waiting on the future and you're not waiting on the past, and you just stay stretching. You always stretch yourself out to the point where you can't do it anymore. You always stretch yourself out. You don't play it safe. You always make different choices, and you are not based on the outcome of the said choice. You're not based on outcome. You don't care about the outcome. You're just, all you care about is the journey within another journey, where it takes you. It doesn't matter where it takes you, because it's going to take you where you need to be. Spirit has you in the palm of their hand, and if they have you in the palm of their hand, they're going to guide you. They're going to show you the way. It's kind of like a metaphysical atlas. It's kind of like a map being drawn for you, and it's being shown for you. But it's not something that you look at, but it's something that you see in your third eye. It's something that you see within your spirit. And if you are becoming spirit, you can say that you're becoming the atlas, you're becoming the way, you're becoming the map, if you will. You're becoming the direction. And when you are guided and you are directed, and it just becomes a little bit more easier when you realize that all of this is trying to get you to understand who you really are in this life. And bye, hun. What you have to understand is that you can't just be upset because something doesn't go your way. Because the things that don't happen, the things that don't fall through, are the things that were going to not be what was meant for you. You have to understand that all the things that did not fall through, that did not work out, something else is going to happen. What if you keep praying and it does happen? What if you keep being patient, have a lot of conviction, have a lot of faith, and stay in the stretching zone? Because the stretching zone allows you to be in the present. It allows you to empty yourself out. It allows you to dig deep within your innermost being and get rid of the darkness. That is the human conditioning. But you have to be open to healing. You have to be open to the transcendence. You have to be open to emptying yourself out to the healing. And a lot of us suffer in this lifetime, but the suffering has nothing to do with us. It only made us really stronger. It only made us really understand that everything that happened in our past allowed us to become who we are. It has nothing to do with our true nature. It was the post-hallucination of us forgetting and getting back on the path of self-remembrance, because we had to go through the veil. We had to go through the veil of amnesia so that we had free will and we had the free choice. And we agreed to all this before this even happened within this universe. But they did this for a reason. They did this so that we could find it, so that we can tap back into it. And once you find it again, once you tap back into it, once you understand who you really are, it's fucking liberating because you realize that you're having the best life right now, and it was given to you by free, and you didn't have to pay a lot of money. You didn't have to spend $1,000 to get this life. But a lot of us, and I'm not saying it was always easy in the beginning stages of my spiritual journey, but once you get a couple years under your belt, it becomes like repetition. You meditate, you feed yourself with spirit, you look for things, you try to learn about things, you try to take certain classes, and spirit will direct you where you need to be. But it's not based on what you think the outcome is, and that's what it's. The unknown is very scary. It's scary for us to go into the unknown because it's not known, it's not figured out. But there's a beauty in not figuring it out. There's a beauty in not knowing what's going to happen. There's a beauty in not knowing. And once you don't know, once you have the kind of concept that you can get well versed in something, you can feel like you know everything about something, but at the end of the day, at the core of the belief or whatever is really that we don't know. So it allows us to learn more. When we act like, when we get rid of that sense of me and we think that we know everything about something, and then we realize when we awaken, we don't know. We don't know how this earth was created. At least I have information that I know how this earth was created, but I tell myself that I don't know everything. But what I do know, like 2 or 3 years ago, is a quantum leap of what I know now. So what I wanted to really describe, that you can't grow if you're staying comfortable. Your comfortability doesn't allow you to grow. But you panicking, you having the self-defeating attitude isn't helping it either. But just know that I'm going to stretch myself out. I'm going to try these 7 different things. I'm going to find the things that excite me the most, that inspire me the most, that are most diverse, that allow me to just go all over the place. And it's really fun, and it's really transcendent, and allows me to try to challenge myself. It allows me to challenge myself because I'm not giving in to the human conditioning anymore. I'm not letting myself identify myself with being a human being. I'm trying to identify truly with the higher self. That's what we're trying to really do in this life, is that we're trying to identify ourselves solely with the higher self. But don't make it a trying. Don't make it a tiredness. Don't make it not fun. Because if you don't make it fun, you're not going to allow the stretching to be fun. And I'm not saying the whole spiritual journey is just love and light. It's going to be a lot of crying. It's going to be a lot of emptying out. It's a lot of purification. It's a lot of eating your own shit. But don't make it negative just saying, oh, I ate my shit and I can't, this is not improving me. No, it is improving you. It's not dimming your light. It's actually showing you what your light can be like, what you want to represent as a light worker, what it can truly be like is what it's showing you, what your higher self is showing you. It's not in a sense to like slap you around and treat you like mom and dad. It's a little bit like that. But what it's really doing, it's just trying to teach you. Emotions are trying to guide you. All of these sense perceptions that we give our power away. So don't give your power away anymore. Stop giving your power away and just stretch out. Take a deep breath. And just release. And just let it go. Let go of like all the things that we think about ourselves. And I can tell you right now that I used to be a negative Nancy. I used to say that I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm too skinny, I'm only 5'10", I'm not 6 foot. So it's like, that has nothing to do with me. That's personal vomit. That's personal like projection. And it's feeding into the negativity. So don't feed into anything. This is the only way that you stretch. Don't feed into anything that does not resonate. Don't feed into anything that doesn't make you feel like a representation of source. Don't feed into anything that limits you, that makes you feel lack, because all those things are illusions to see through. They're just illusions to try to see through, to try to push through, to try to really empty yourself out and try to understand that none of these illusions or these hallucinations have anything to do with Source in human form. It has nothing to do with the Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdom. And if you have not watched me, that's my simplification. I don't know if that's a word. It's my simplification of the densities of consciousness, and rewatch that other segment that I did. But I'll be talking about the densities of consciousness in another segment. But we just got to know our power. We're regaining our power. We're regaining our really divine essence. We're regaining our essence of what Source is to us. We're regaining so many things that are elevating us and putting us in an elevated state, an elevated vibration. And we're remembering the densities of consciousness which we forgot. It's a whole journey of forgetfulness. It's the veil of forgetfulness. And then you realize the isness, you realize the beingness, the bliss, the I am, the consciousness, the Christ consciousness. You start to remember that. You start to tap back in to the I am. That's how you stretch yourself. That's how you become who you are. And you disregard anything or anybody that doesn't represent and confirm who you are. Because everything is a reflection for you. And if you have a bunch of things that confirm what you are and you don't like it, it's the time, it's the place, it's the now where you can change it, where you can become the manifestation, become the creation, become the exhilarating feeling of being divinely orchestrated into being awesome. So we're becoming supernatural. Once again, we're becoming the true nature of the totality of the whole picture of Source. It's very liberating. It's very beautiful. It's a little rebellious, but there's nothing wrong with being a little rebellious. There's nothing wrong with really being a barrier breaker, breaking the generational curse, if you will. When you're breaking the generational curse, there's something that happens. People look at you funny. People don't understand you, but that's the whole point. They don't grasp you. You're indescribable. You're not be able to be guessed. There's no estimation on you because you realize that God is infinite. That if you're infinite, that there's no possibility that you can fail, that you can be stagnant, no false narrative, nothing in this world, the outside world, has to do with you. You don't have to be like the Joneses. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses. You don't have to prove your worthiness to nobody except yourself, because this life is a living testament to who you want to be in this life. It's a living testament to your freedom. It's a living testament to your bliss, to how you want to keep in an elevated state all the time, everywhere, all the time. And they're trying to stretch us out so much that we are that way, that we're all that we are. We're all that there is. We're the allness. So it's a very beautiful thing that happens when you remain in the stretching zone. There's something that happens that's so transcendent, that's so amazing, that is so emphatic. It's like a triumph, because you are not only transcending everything in your life, but you're helping other people and being of service to others to teach them that they can stretch themselves out, that they can do this, that they can be all they can be, that they don't have to be subjected to the human condition. They don't have to believe in lack. They don't have to be this way, that we are conditioned. They don't have to be this silly human being in this silly human experience. They don't have to be that way. They have a choice, and that's the beautiful, liberating thing, is that you have a choice. So what is your choice going to be? What are you going to try to emulate in this life? How are you going to find ways to expand your consciousness? Meditate every day and try to seek out the infinite creation within yourself. How are you going to be the updated, revamped version of yourself? There's a reboot, there's a revamp, there's an instantaneous sort of clarity that shines within your being, that shines through you. And as you are being the vessel of love and light, anything that you need to channel, anything you need to heal and bestow onto everybody else will be shown. It will be ever present. So we just have to be fearless in this whole thing. It's a lot of fearlessness, it's a lot of taking risk, it's taking a chance on yourself. It's trying to seek yourself out. It's trying to seek who you are. It's the path of self-mastery for a reason. Because you're trying to see how masterful you can be in this life. It's very liberating. It's very awesome. And it makes you feel very liberated that you can help activate something within somebody else's consciousness. But everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own higher self. Everybody has their own journey. So don't get discouraged when your higher self is reflecting things back to you. Don't get discouraged because you had a moment of healing where you cried, where you laid your heart bare and laid it out on a silver platter. Because that is all about integration. It's freeing, it's stretching you out, it's emptying yourself out, it's being clear, it's being purified. And I can tell you that my best life is being lived right now. And it was given to me freely. It's a beautiful thing. But I don't know what your soul contracts are. I don't know what your experience is. But from my direct experience of experiencing the world and projecting and creating and manifesting and trying to use the law of subtraction, subtracting everything out of my life to get to this state, and then to finally to fall in love with myself, to forgive myself, so I have this self-realization, so I tap into my happiness so that I can empower everything else in life. And I'm just using this as sort of an example to empower everything in your life. It's truly you trying to empower yourself. Are you going to be mild, or are you going to go to stretch yourself out to the extreme? Not in a bad way, but in a very blissful, exhilarating way. So it's a very, very liberating journey altogether. It's very exhilarating. It's very exciting. It's a journey within journeys within journeys. And you realize that wherever you are at, you got to be happy with where you're at. All is well. Conviction. And it's very liberating when you let go of everything and you let go of worry, you let go of fear, you let go of the human conditioning completely. It's just all about letting go of anything that is deriving, that is deflecting from what you want to do in this life. There's something beautiful that happens when you stop deflecting, stop suppressing, and just express yourself the way you want. Express your inner song, if you will. And once you express your inner song, it feels like you sharing. It feels very daring. When you share, it makes you feel better. kind of like venting, but not quite. It's kind of like venting, but not. So, but it's just you sharing your creation, sharing your inspiration to people, sharing who you are to people. And that is, it's the people that make us courageous. It's the people that allow us to do our jobs right here, right now. It's not us. It's not something personal. It's just your higher self coming into your being and you're channeling it. Or you could channel Archangel Michael or Raphael or anybody that you would want to. But be a divine channel. Be a channel of peace. Be a channel of love, of genuine love. Because if we keep giving into the hay, the muck, and the mire, we're going to become the hay, the muck, and the mire, if you will. We're going to become that, and we don't want to be that. We don't want to be. We don't want to play it safe. We don't want to be stagnant. We don't want to feel bad. We want to feel good. We want to feel ecstasy, happiness, love for ourselves, empower ourselves, realize more things about the self. That's what we're trying to do. So, I feel like I've discussed a lot of things. I think I've touched on what I needed to touch on, but I wanted to do some healing as well. So, I'm going to be doing Stupa Mudra energy. It's what the Buddhists use. All right, so open yourselves up. Take a deep breath. And I'll be moving my palms around my hands, and you can feel it through your veins, feel it through your fingertips, feel it through your whole being. I call upon the gold, violet dragons of Merlin and Merlin to step forward to put a protection grid around all of us in the world. And to burn up black, to burn up the false narratives, to burn up everything that does not resonate, that does not help us stay within our beingness, so it can help us become who we are. And you can feel yourself getting hot in this moment. Tap in. Tap into yourself. Tap into the true self, the effortless perfection of the higher self. And let go. Light codes are being sent out, Atlantean codes. And when I snap my fingers, you'll come back to. You'll have a greater sense of clarity. You will know who you are. You will not doubt yourself. No self-judgment, no self-doubt. But self-love, self-forgiveness, self-actualization turns into self-realization and self-empowerment. Take another deep breath. That was powerful. So if you tuned into this broadcast, please go to our YouTube channel, MorningStar I Am Movement. BitChute MorningStar at I Am Movement, and the I, capital space M, capital space M, capital movement. The rest is lowercase. And please go to our TikTok, MorningStar 967. Go to Divine Ray, MorningStar, and I Am MorningStar and White Wolf. The I Am Movement got in the way. We just dropped a new video, and we also dropped Melchizedek downloads on YouTube as well. And please go to our Instagram page, I_M_movement, all lowercase. This is White Wolf. I hope you shared out. I hope you donated. And God bless. And I hope you enjoyed this segment of Cigars and Spirituality, Episode 4. God bless and become transcendence today.